So welcome to everyone. My name is Jamie Peters and I'm a registered nurse and certified respiratory educator here at Lung Saskatchewan. Before we begin today, I'd like to acknowledge the land we're on. We are hosting this webinar today on Treaty 6 territory in Saskatoon, the ancestral and traditional territory of the Cree, Dene, Blackfoot, Saulteaux, Nakota Sioux, and homeland of the Métis. We acknowledge the many Indigenous people whose footsteps marked this land for generations and reaffirm our relationship with one another. We know many of you are participating on land other than Treaty 6, and we'd like to encourage you to find a little bit more about the land you work, live, and play on as well. Lung Saskatchewan is Saskatchewan's oldest health charity, and we've been around since 1911. Our mission is to improve lung health one breath at a time. We have Susan, who's going to be presenting today from the Saskatoon Sleep Disorder Centers, and she has done this before, so I think some of you might know her. She is a registered nurse as well, with a Bachelor of Science degree from the University of Manitoba. She's worked long-term care, surgical wards, and now in sleep medicine for a few years since 2016. So we're always thankful to have you around, Susan, and I am going to pass the presentation over to you.
Thank you, Jamie. Please let me know if you can't hear me. I might have to plug in a different speaker, but I will also lose my mouse at that time, so it's a little bit, I need that first. So we're here today, we're going to talk about sleep equipment, sleep apnea equipment and care and how to clean it and look after it. I'm just going to share my screen here. I've got a PowerPoint ready. Excellent. So vision, mission, values, and philosophy of care for the Saskatchewan Health Region, pardon me. Our vision is healthy people, healthy Saskatchewan. We want to work together to provide and improve health and well-being every day for everyone. You can go ahead and go on to the next slide. This is our SHA Treaty land acknowledgement. We have gone through this for those of you who are here. Take a quick peek at it and then we'll move on. All right, talking today about general cleaning guidelines. We'll watch a video and talk about a few additional equipment items that aren't covered by the video. And then we'll talk about replacing equipment and leave time for questions. All right, so cleaning equipment care is important because we don't want bacteria and oils to build up on the surface of your equipment. Oils building up on the surface of your mask can impact how well your mask seals, and the bacteria and oils can cause some skin irritation as well, which we don't want you to experience. Over time, the water tubs can potentially grow both bacteria and mold, and it's thought that this buildup of germs and bacteria on your equipment can potentially also then be transmitted into your lungs and your respiratory tract. So that could increase your risk of infection or also aggravating an existing condition such as asthma or another chronic respiratory condition. So cleaning your equipment regularly is going to help to prevent infection and also increase the longevity of your equipment, make it last longer before you have to replace it. On a daily basis, we do recommend that when you take off your mask in the morning, you do wipe the cushion down. Now, there are CPAP wipes available from the CPAP supply companies. You can also use warm water and a bit of mild liquid soap. Wipe it down with a damp lint-free cloth just to remove those oils. You also should be emptying the water out of your humidity chamber, which actually I didn't get in here. So just dump the water out, leave the water chamber sitting on your counter or next to your CPAP machine. It can dry throughout the day and then you can refill it when you go to bed in the evening. On a weekly basis, we want to do a bit more extensive cleaning. We want to make sure the mask gets washed again. You can take it all apart if you're comfortable with that to make sure all the little bits and pieces get cleaned. Some people will take a soft bristle brush and just wipe down, especially the little vent holes in the mask. Make sure there's nothing in there blocking those air holes. And then the headgear, the elastic that holds your mask on, that should be washed weekly as well. That can tend to build up oils from your hair and that, and and the elastic stretches out. So it's just better to make sure you wash that. And the frame for that, so that's all the pieces of the mask. Your tubing also should be washed once a week, and the water chamber. So all these items can be put into just a tub or a bowl or whatever you use for cleaning a sink with a little bit of warm water and mild liquid soap. You can let it soak up to about 10 minutes, but no longer. And then rinse it out really well with clean water and allow it to air dry. So lay it out on the counter on a clean towel to air dry. Just avoid direct sun or heat. When I was just checking some facts on this stuff, there were notes in some of the manufacturer guides not to put these things in the dryer, which is kind of an unusual choice, but don't do that. The hose, once you get it wet, takes quite a bit of time to dry. I would suggest hanging it over a shower curtain rod, let it drip dry. Some people will use a hairdryer or something to blow air through that, but it has to be cold air, not heated air, or you might melt the hose, actually. Okay, we can go on to the next one. One caveat to soaking your equipment is the masks with the memory foam on it, and we're going to come to that after the video. Some of the cleaning products that are out there could also damage your mask or leave a harmful residue. So you want to avoid any soap that contains alcohol, antibacterial agents, antiseptic bleach, chlorine, any conditions or moisturizers. One of our reps had said to avoid lemon oils as well. So just a really basic, mild soap. Some people use a dish soap, some people use a mild baby shampoo. If you do have any white powder deposits on the water tub, which will happen over time, you might want to use vinegar water solution. 1 part vinegar to 10 parts of water. You can use that after you've had a cold or an infection as well on the rest of your equipment, but don't do it on a regular basis. And always make sure you rinse that well. And again, let that equipment air dry. Okay, let's see if our video link works. This is only about 4 minutes long or so, and just goes through that cleaning for you.
I just have to make the sound go 1 second here. So that is not it. And everyone can see that?
And accessories, but it's really important. I'm sure you know it's important to clean your CPAP machine and accessories, but it's really important. In order for this system to both function well and to be kept free from germs and bacteria, we strongly recommend you clean your CPAP system on a daily basis. I know, sounds more labor intensive than it is. Trust us though, the process is fairly quick and easy, and it can make a big difference in keeping you healthy. So I'm going to walk you through how best to clean each part of your system. And for more tips on how to care for and choose the right accessories, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. All right, the first step here is to gather your supplies. And for this, you'll need some mild soap. This should be unscented and ideally a soap that is not made for moisturizing your skin. Next, you'll need some warm drinking water, a container for soaking your hose like a tub or a large bucket. You'll need a clean, smooth towel, and if your machine has a humidifier, you'll also need some white vinegar. Now, you'll notice that what we're using to clean our machine is pretty no frills, and that is by design. You're going to see a lot of other CPAP cleaning materials on the market that are more complicated. For instance, you might see some CPAP cleaning machines that use ozone or ultraviolet light to sanitize CPAP equipment. These sound good in theory, but the FDA warns against using these cleaning devices due to potential health and safety risks. Ozone cleaners, for example, release gases that have been linked to respiratory infections. And UV light has been linked to burns, eye damage, and even skin cancer. In fact, some brands have recalled their CPAP cleaners over safety concerns. But even despite these recalls, you can still buy some of them. But really, using soap and warm water is incredibly effective. Keep it simple. All right, with that out of the way, let's get to cleaning. You'll need to start by disassembling your CPAP machine. Make sure the device isn't plugged into a wall outlet. And if your machine has an integrated battery, be sure to remove that also. Start by rinsing with mild soap and warm water. Again, make sure the soap is unscented and not too harsh, otherwise it can damage or contaminate the tank. Once you're done cleaning the humidifier, rinse the entire tank with cool drinking water. Place the tank on a clean, smooth towel to air dry. And make sure the tank is not exposed to direct sunlight while it's drying. Once a week, give your tank a deeper clean by using a 1-to-1 solution of warm water and white vinegar. Fill the tank with this solution, then leave it to soak for about 15 minutes. Pour out the solution and allow the tank to air dry on a clean towel. The next step in this process is to clean the air hose and the tubing that connect your CPAP machine to your mask. And when you do this, it's important to sanitize the exterior and the interior. This is why you should fully submerge these components in a clean tub or bucket with a mix of warm drinking water and mild soap. Soak these for a few minutes, remove the hose and tubing from the tub, and rinse it inside and out. Make sure to rinse until all the soap suds and the residue is gone. And then place the hose and tubing on a clean, smooth towel for air drying. As with the humidifier tank, make sure the hose and tubing do not air dry in direct sunlight. One important note to highlight here: if your air hose is heated, it probably contains some electrical components. And in that case, it's going to require some more intensive cleaning. We recommend checking the product manual for any special cleaning and care instructions. Okay, let's talk about cleaning your mask. To start this process, you'll need to disassemble the mask completely. Separate the headgear, frame, and the cushions. Clean each part of your mask with the same mixture of warm water and mild soap. Pay special attention to the cushions and the headgear and really scrub those. These are two areas that come into contact with your skin and your hair, and they tend to really build up oil. This oil can attract microbes and cause the headgear and cushions to deteriorate more quickly, so make sure to remove any traces of oils from these parts. Rinse all the soap off the cushions, headgear, and frame, then set them on a clean towel to air dry. Make sure you don't reassemble the mask until each piece is completely dry. Now, keep in mind the cushion size depends on which type of mask you use. For example, if you use a nasal or a nasal pillow mask, the cushions are relatively small and they're not going to require too much time to clean. If you use a full face mask like this one, cleaning the cushions is more time consuming. Once you have everything fully cleaned, don't forget to check your CPAP machine's filter. These should be replaced every 2 weeks. But if your machine has a reusable filter, make sure you wash it every 2 weeks with warm soapy water. And then make sure you fully replace it every 3 months. Now, one of the questions we often get here is whether you have to use your CPAP machine forever. And we get it. These aren't the most elegant systems, but they are the most effective. But there are a host of things you can do to try to alleviate sleep apnea symptoms without using a CPAP machine. So for some of our expert tips, make sure you check out our video right here. Keeping your CPAP machine and parts clean is really, really important for your respiratory health and for maintaining a functional machine. Thanks for watching, everyone.
It's so good.
Excellent. Okay, so one of the types of masks that the video didn't touch on are the memory foam masks. So specifically what I've got here in the picture are the ResMed AirTouch cushions. You can get them in the nasal mask or the full face mask. They're made of memory foam. Manufacturer instructions for cleaning these are to use like a wipe, like a CPAP wipe, and wipe them down. They do not recommend soaking this or submersing these in water for cleaning. They work really well for some people. They definitely need to be replaced more frequently. And we'll talk about replacing masks later, but always check your mask to see if you've got any damage to it that would require it to be replaced. So here is the actual recommendations for the AirTouch cushion. So if you see any deterioration, discard it and replace it. Clean with alcohol-free wipes only. Make sure you keep it dry and away from liquids. Don't expose it to direct sunlight. Don't use any domestic cleaner or domestic cleaning devices on it. Don't use alcohol wipes, and don't submerge it in liquids, as I mentioned. Okay. Always with your equipment, refer to them as manufacturer instructions. All the masks will come with them. The hoses will come with them. The CPAP machines come with them. So always, refer back to the manufacturer guidelines, because ultimately that would also affect your warranties. So, next one. So climate line hose. They didn't really touch on the heated hose. A lot of the sale machines have been coming lately with the climate line heated hose. I can't speak to other manufacturers today, but these you should be cleaning weekly, and they are okay to wash in warm water using mild detergent. They recommend not soaking them longer than 10 minutes. Air dry them. Make sure you don't put them in the dishwasher or the washing machine, and avoid any direct sun or heat. So very similar instructions to your masks and water chambers. Okay. They mentioned ozone and UV light cleaning devices. We often get a lot of questions about these. Last time I looked, they were probably around $500 or so. I couldn't find any data based out of Health Canada regarding these, but out of the States, the US Food and Drug Administration definitely does not recommend it, has not approved any of them. The ozone gas devices, when the FDA did some initial research into them, they did find that even though these machines claim to clean, disinfect, or sanitize the CPAP devices, sometimes there was additional ozone gas left kind of just hanging out in your equipment, and that even longer than what their manufacturer recommendations were for letting the equipment set before you use it. The other thing was that they found that sometimes the ozone levels were actually higher than what is recommended as safe for people. So I'm not a big fan myself, but ultimately you guys have to have the information to make your own decisions. UV light devices also claim to clean, disinfect, and sanitize CPAP devices. And what the FDA found about them in their initial findings was sometimes the equipment wasn't as clean as people thought it maybe should be. So, and then they had their warnings. I'm not sure if I've got those in this PowerPoint or not, but if you want to go on to the next slide, there it is. So using these devices may actually void your manufacturer warranty. ResMed has come out, if you're using a ResMed machine, saying that if you've used these devices and there's damage to your machine, that voids the warranty. They can actually tell when you're using the ozone devices with them. It sounds like when they open them up to do the repairs, there's a lot of the components are actually kind of green from the ozone. So the other caveat to these are that the add-on cleaning devices, they don't replace the manufacturer's recommended cleaning process. So even if you were to use these devices, you still have to follow the manufacturer cleaning device or cleaning processes that are recommended. So it doesn't necessarily save you time, because you still need to be cleaning your equipment. Again, be sure to consult your user guides. Okay, next slide. Oh, this is it. Okay, so other effects of ozone that they touched on in the video is that you might have some difficulty breathing. There might be irritation to your nasal passages, mucous membranes. People have reported headaches, asthma attacks, and other breathing related complaints. And with the UV light, there's some concern about whether the devices actually protect you from the UV radiation that they're using. And if it doesn't, it results in burns, eye damage, and skin cancer. Okay, so how do we know when it's time to replace our equipment? Filters should be checked periodically. If you're in a place that's very dusty, or you have animals in your home, you actually may need to replace your filter more frequently than people who are in other environments where the air might be cleaner. SAIL recommends replacing those filters every 3 months and expects that. Again, if your filter is dirty and clogged or blocked, chances are that you're actually causing damage to the motors inside the machine. So if your filter's noticeably dirty when you check it, replace it. With your mask, make sure to inspect it regularly. Manufacturer recommends replacing it if there's any damage that's visible. That could be cracking, it could be tears in the silicone. Crazing is just a collection of fine cracks. And there is a study out there by Horowitz done through Harvard in 2009 that does indicate that even with really good cleaning practices, that it's almost impossible to get rid of all the bacteria left on the masks after about 6 months. So they do recommend changing that mask about 6 months to every year. However, if you have visible damage prior to that, it could be sooner. With the tubing, again, inspect it regularly. As far as the manufacturer is concerned, replace it if you have any holes, tears, or cracks. And the water tub, same thing, inspect it regularly. Replace it if it's leaking. You don't want that water to get into the motor of the CPAP machine. And if it's cracked, cloudy, pitted, sometimes it's got that white powder buildup we talked about earlier. If you can't get rid of that anymore, look at replacing that water chamber. And all this equipment is available at your local vendors. So in the province, we've got Parkland, we've got Saskatoon CPAP Services, we've got Medigas, Prairie Oxygen, and Carica. And I don't think I've missed anybody. So one of those places can help you with replacing equipment. All right. So is there any questions?